Hi everyone, it's me, Shivani, and today I wanted to make a video because I really wanted to. It's about Five Nights at Freddy's again. I just can't stop with the Five Nights at Freddy's thing. So people have been speculating that there's a new Fnaf game, or probably a reference to maybe when the start of the Freddy Fazbear's establishment I can't say it fully, but you get what I mean. So apparently, it all references to a carnival in 1970s Ice Cream Freddy. One of the cutouts in the Ruin DLC. And honestly, it just makes sense. Because even with the timeline, it's mostly speculated that Fredbear's Family Diner was opened in the early or late 70s, but mostly the early 70s. And even though it's a little weird for a carnival to exist of the Freddy Fazbear establishment, but it is possible, considering that I've also noticed in Fnaf Security Breach for Furious Rage that one of the stages involves a construction site, and in the background of the construction site, there's a tent that's striped with red and white, and that's usually associated with like a circus tent or a carnival. So it may be possible that there's a carnival in town. There used to be a carnival in town. And it also makes sense for either a circus or carnival because there's a certain area in the Ruin DLC that involves some kind of back room or warehouse that has these mascot suits. And one of them being an elephant. And what are elephants in? Carnivals and circuses. It's possible. Very possible. And considering that not real name, not at all said that we're way far in the future of Five Nights at Freddy's, and if we want to see the old animatronics again, we might have to go back a few or a couple decades. And I would agree, because honestly, it doesn't make sense for the future to be, for the recent Fnaf part of the Fnaf series to take place in the future in like 2035. Like, what the fuck? No, this cannot be happening. So, in a way, yes, we might have to go back to a couple or a few decades. My guess would either be the 1970s or the 2000s, to be obvious. One of them being in the 2000s, being my character Quinzel Schmidt and her family. Her mother and father, Mary and Mike Schmidt, and their other daughter, Marilyn. As you might know, my character Quinzel and her family are based on Mike Schmidt from Five Nights at Freddy's 1, Mary and Marilyn Schmidt from the Five Nights at Candy series. Mary being the main protagonist in Five Nights at Candy's 1 and 3, and her daughter Marilyn being the main protagonist in Five Nights at Candy's 2. And where does Quinzel lead up? Well, she was just a original character that I created. Mostly due to, if the marionette had hair. Like, actual, hair. Not the same color as the rest of the marionette, character. That's mostly black. I would say the marionette might have, bright colored hair. And I was thinking about maybe orange, and boom, that created a character for me that inspired me to make my character Quinzel Schmidt. And originally people thought that the marionette was a female, but it turns out that the marionette is pretty much male. Quinzel would pretty much be the only female marionette, I think. Sorry. I don't know what's going on right now, but I just okay. So about the 1970s thing. I mean, to have an actual prequel to start to have an actual Fnaf game where it's a prequel within a prequel to Fnaf 4, the whole, a prequel to that started the entire Fazbear I can't say it. Establishment. Like a prequel taking place in the 1970s. That might be possible. Especially since there was just one poster, one picture of Freddy Fazbear in black and white. Like you know how back during the 1930s to 1960s, especially some other films that were shot in black and white. Yeah, that's what I'm getting with. With my version being taken place in the 1960s, with the Fnaf series taking place in the 1920s, when taking first place in the 1920s when it was first established. Yeah, I don't know. I also thought of some sort of characters, like from Garden of Banban. There's the Jester, the top half Jester, who is voiced by the ever-loving Thingy Noodles. Great. Fantastic. I also thought about Tanya from Mortal Kombat, and considering that people were absolutely getting upset for no reason about Tanya in Mortal Kombat 1 or Mortal Kombat 12 being ugly. I don't find her ugly. She's beautiful just the way she is. And I like Tanya. And some people thought that she would look great in the original classic Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 ninja, female ninja skins, which I think would be a great idea. There's a fan making called Mortal Kombat New Era, and it involves Tanya with those skins. However, in the cutscenes involving her story, it mostly involves her Mortal Kombat 3 skin, which is not a bad idea. There was also an alternate costume for Tanya that was shown in a cutscene in Mortal Kombat X or maybe 11. However, it's not actually shown in game, which is kind of sad because Tanya doesn't have that much costumes, unlike other characters. Yeah, I didn't know what to make of this video. I'm a little tired, and yeah, very much so. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that even though people think that Tanya being in the female classic Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 ninja suits would be nice, she's not actually a ninja. Even the fact that she doesn't wear a mask, I would still think it would be a neat idea for her to be in the classic ninja outfits, which might be interesting. I mean, mostly Mortal Kombat 2, the Mortal Kombat 2 skin that just might be good for her. I don't know what I would imagine Tanya having an alternate skin would be like. I don't know about a Freddy Fazbear's Carnival in the early 70s, especially if that even try to add up to the timeline. I mean, it might be possible, but in the timeline, I'm not sure how that would add up. I mean, it would be kind of impossible. But then again, having a prequel before FNAF 4 would be interesting. Like a FNAF carnival or circus. That would be amazing. But, oh yeah, actually, since people were talking about Security Breach and how there would be a second DLC, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't. Because Hub 1 and 2 is going to come out soon. And it might be possible that there might be a DLC for Hub 1 and 2 involving a carnival. I mean, just think about it. Just think about it. And considering that Circus Baby's Pizza World might be connected to a carnival in some way, but at the same time, Sister Location didn't take place in the 70s or early 80s. In my timeline, it was first established in 1986, and then Elizabeth's death at that same year. And then 10 years later, in 1996, where Michael goes into the Circus Babies thing